Oh my goodness, Mzansi. What we have just seen right now is more than a story. It's the ripple effect of belief, care and long-term commitment. And joining us this morning in studio is Gone Gugushe, Head of Social Investing at FirstRand, who helps turn that belief into real-world change through strategic support of early childhood development across South Africa. Please, everybody, let's give her a warm Expresso welcome.
Thank you.
What we've just seen now is so heartwarming and truly inspiring. I mean, the first thing is, what inspired you to really support an initiative such as Siyakwazi?
Thank you so much, Kuhle, for having us. So at FirstRand, I mean, we are really driven by our purpose, which is to create a future of shared prosperity for our customers, our employees, and the society that we live in. And the promise that we make is important for us to keep that promise, to say that our prosperity has to be interlinked and intertwined and shared with the society. And so it was important then, I mean, education is one of the most important tools that you can use to really propel progress. And so, you know, education is our biggest area that we support. But within that, within education, we know that the plight of children that live with disabilities, that live with learning difficulties, can be undermined. And so it was important then for us to find organizations that really work with children with disabilities and children with learning difficulties.
And why early childhood education specifically, particularly in under-resourced communities?
Yeah. So we believe that foundational learning, we've seen what our country has really battled with education outcomes. And we believe that this is, and research shows that this is as a result of really foundations not being laid properly. And so for us, it's important that we start really from the grassroots, we start from that early childhood development and we build the building blocks appropriately. And for us, quality is so important.
Of course.
So we really focus on enabling the people around the children, particularly the teachers and practitioners, and of course, as Siyakwazi also does, reaching out to the parents to ensure that that continues into the household.
When we have these conversations about education, particularly in under-resourced communities, we know what the shortcomings are. And we know the importance of, you know, childhood development as well, because as cliche as it may sound, the kids, the children are the future. Right? Why do you believe that it is so underserviced and under-resourced and underfunded as well?
So I really think that education and ECD in particular really battles with a lot of fragmentation. There's lots of little small players, you know, from I think, you know, just a go-go establishing an ECD creche or just taking kids to look after them to formalized schools. There's a lot of fragmentation within that sector, which really then undermines even the channeling of funding that goes into that. And also, I think at a policy level, the various departments that look after the well-being of children, from the Department of Social Development to the Department of Education to the Department of Health, I think even there is, you know, misalignment in policy. We only saw in the last 2 years that grade R was made compulsory and ECD was shifted and moved into the Department of Education, but still the other overall well-being of a child still resides with the other the other policy departments. So that policy fragmentation, I think, really needs to be streamlined, and we need to see kind of harmonization and working together of certain things, from the policy level to the execution and implementation. You know, that fragmentation needs to be resolved somehow.
And hopefully we can address it pretty soon.
Yes, of course. I mean, I think the work that we do as corporates and the work that we do certainly as the FirstRand Foundation, we see it as complementing government. We see it as really providing an additional boost to what government is doing in organizing the sector.
I mean, thank you so much to you and your team at FirstRand for taking this initiative. You touched on some ECD programs that the foundation supports. What impact do you believe that this has had?
Yeah. So, I mean, we do research. We are led by research in the things that we do. And one of the research that we do is the Thrive by 5 Index. And the Thrive by 5 Index that was recently released in October indicates that there is, I think, at least 45% of our children under 5 are not on track in terms of their developmental milestones. And this is particularly pronounced in children who are not attending ECD centers. And you can imagine how much more pronounced it is in children that are living with disabilities or learning difficulties. And so based on that research, for us, it was then important to make sure that, one, we support inclusion and we support the availability of resources that help children to thrive. We aim to support children to be school ready by the age of 6, and of course literacy and numeracy by grade 4 and digital skills by grade 7. This for us is the continuum that is so important in foundational learning.
The plan is there. The implementation is currently happening. We thank you so much for coming through to Expresso and shedding light on this very, very important initiative and being a champion of education in our communities as well.
Thank you so much.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, stories like Expresso's remind us that community is a big thing, and when investment meets intention and care is placed where it matters most, entire generations are given a stronger start. We have started off this morning with a whole lot of inspiration. As we take a break, sit back and reflect on what more we can do to truly improve our education sector. We will continue our conversation with so much more after the break.